Hey everybody, it's Austin Ward for Lettermen Row, back with another BuckIQ and another basketball version with Terence Dials in the building. As Ohio State shifts gears here, tries to get back in the NCAA tournament, it's really kind of shifted over the last couple weeks. The guy who's emerged, Terence, has been Luther Muhammad, and for a freshman, it's been really impressive what he's doing in pressure situations.
Well, you know, obviously as a freshman, you're going to have to take some time in order for him to learn the college system, the speed, the intensity that it takes to play at this level. I think now, after the Christmas break, you can tell that time, you know, he's learning. He's starting to figure it out, and he's definitely helping the Buckeyes.
I think the anticipation was that he would come in and he was so tenacious on defense that would be where he'd help. But really the last couple of weeks, I mean, he's become not just a secondary scorer to Caleb, he's been a primary scorer in multiple of these games. Yeah,
well, obviously there's a void in the backcourt, definitely with the scoring part. And when Caleb is struggling, someone needs to step up. What I like about Luther is he has that alpha dog mentality, and he wants to take it and wants to take those shots, and that's going to come big for Ohio State coming forward.
We saw part of that. He was really jawing against Penn State, hit some big shots, he let people know about it. But that's not. He's got that all-around game going. Terence is going to break it down right now as Luther Muhammad playing this key role for Ohio State heading into the stretch run. So let's roll the tape.
Because you don't have someone that's going to attract a ton of attention like big Caleb West.
This was the type of lineup that had some success against Purdue last time, and Roby thought about it. What a nice move. Roby with Jallo on him. Feeds Harris, and he turned it over. Luther Muhammad on the run.
I mean, that's his game, Jeff. I mean,
so, you know, brings out your character, Lisa. You know what I mean?
Is that what it does?
Yeah, your long johns and your character, your boots and everything.
I was going to say, it brings out the layers. I'm not sure about the character. That one hitting every single inch of the rim before it falls through for Luther Muhammad.
Screen up top. Woods caught the brunt of it. Now he comes up the sideline. Wesson zips into the corner. Muhammad for three.
All right, Terence, this was one of those, this was that slump buster where Luther kind of really came out. He was doing things off the dribble, which is one thing that, you know, Keita Bates-Diop was able to do, create his own shot last year.
And that's one thing we were lacking so far the whole season is someone to dribble, penetrate, and score. Right now, everything is passing on the perimeter and getting jump shots, but we don't have that one person that can attack the rim and score, and Luther's starting to emerge as that.
I know there's sometimes frustration from, you know, fans or even media watching. It's like, oh, well, the offense is predictable. You know, sometimes the sets aren't going to work, and you have to go do something else.
Well, you always have to have a player that can break down a set. Sets for basketball are just if you don't have anything at the moment, you know, you run a set. But when you run your sets, it's the first available shot that you have, and if you need to break someone down, you have to do that.
And I have asked this question of him. He just seems to be carrying himself very confidently. And it's almost like it's changed over the last 6 weeks. And you've been through, you were once a freshman.
Yeah.
It doesn't always happen right away.
Yeah, it took me 3 years to get confidence. But no, Luther came in with confidence. I think he has that East Coast swagger about him, an alpha dog. And it took him a little time to kind of take charge of this team, but you can tell who's actually the leader is. And even though CJ is a senior, he's a quiet senior. And Luther is the guy that I think the team looks to for energy and looks to for leadership.
I think this is an example of what people thought he would bring right away. Now, his offensive game has developed, but that's what everybody knew, those long arms and that aggressiveness on defense.
I tell freshmen all the time, in order to earn minutes on the floor, you have to start on the defensive end. You start on the defensive end, the offense will come.
He's definitely, I mean, and sometimes it's as easy as this, right? You're going to get a dunk.
Yeah, I mean, this is the easiest point you can get, obviously, but he was aware, he was aware of where the ball was and where his man was. Great position, able to get an easy steal for him. And this is what he's going to bring all year and the rest of his career at Ohio State.
And that was really critical for Ohio State. They were in the midst of that losing streak. They snap it there at Nebraska. There was a rough one after that in the rivalry, but then you come back out and another chance to build, and this was another one where Luther Muhammad was finding that stroke and getting confident.
Well, that's the beauty about basketball. You know, you play so many games, you have an opportunity to kind of right your wrongs.
Right.
It's definitely not like football where you lose one game and
the sky's falling.
That's the sky's falling. You know, fortunately for the basketball team, you have a couple chances to kind of redeem yourself, and Ohio State is starting to play like they were playing early on in the season.
This is an interesting one here. He wants to make that extra pass, right? And then sometimes the extra pass comes back to you.
Well, that's just a good basketball player. Someone closed out on him. He made an extra pass, and then CJ obviously was not ready to shoot. Pass it right back to CJ, open look. He's starting to knock him down, and that's what we've been lacking on that losing streak. We were shooting, you know, god-awful percentage.
Right.
And once you make the open ones, the lane will open up for you for drives.
There was, during that losing stretch, you just keep going back to it. Ohio State was not that poor of a shooting team that was going to continue forever, right? I mean, sometimes you just go through that.
You go through slumps. I remember when I played, there were several slumps that we went through for shooting, but it's just one of those things you have to stay in the gym and continue to shoot and practice and get those extra shots up, and they'll eventually fall down for you.
And part of that, when you start knocking them down, is Ohio State gets this win against Rutgers, another one against Penn State. Sometimes that confidence comes spilling out, and teams are so wary, they're just going to fall down defending them.
That is true. But the one thing I did like about that, even though we were on a losing streak, we didn't stop playing defense. Mm-hmm. And I think that was the key for their confidence. They know they can stop teams. They just have to put the ball in the basket on the offensive end. And now they're starting to do that.
I think coming up here is going to be one of the favorites for Chris Holtmann. I don't know how coaches truly feel about guys who trash talk, but it does bring energy to the teammates, right? You hit a big shot and you let Penn State know about it. I think that probably sparks those guys on the floor.
I think as a head coach, you have to say something, but deep down, you love it. That's one of those things where, he brings energy to the team, and you look at the bench, they're all excited.
Look at that's the towel gang over here.
Yeah, they're all excited. That's just something that brings energy, and, your team feeds off of that, and then maybe Caleb will start talking some trash, and, it just trickles down.
There you go. Offense, defense, trash talk. Luther Muhammad is doing it all. As Ohio State continues to fight back off the bubble, get back into maybe the NCAA tournament mix, I think Luther Muhammad's going to be right in the mix, and Terence Dials will be breaking that all down for us at Lettermen Row. So for Terence, I'm Austin Ward. We'll see you next time on BuckIQ.